Is it your view that your mother took sides in this dispute? Did she take active steps to try and get Murray to sign the agreement?
I don't believe she took sides. She was trying to keep the peace.
Okay. Now, if I can ask you a few questions about your relationship with some of the city officials. You turn up Exhibit 265. Middle of the passage, John Filippetti communicating with Michael Pitt. I received a call from Ed Sajecki, who indicated that Peter McCallion spoke to him further on Saturday. After the three of us spoke, according to Ed, Peter asked Ed what the city could do that might give us as vendors comfort that the hotel would be built. As a result, Ed called to say the city would be prepared to consider amending the official plan to require a hotel to be built. So on. Do you recall having a discussion with Ed Sajecki? And from the date, I believe it would have been at the Mayor's Gala?
That's quite possible, yes.
All right. And do you recall suggesting to Mr. Sajecki that perhaps the official plan could be changed?
Well, I asked what he could do in order to require a hotel, and he suggested the official plan.
And Mr. Sajecki suggested the official plan be changed?
Yes.
And could we just have a look? I don't know the exhibit numbers, but OMR 002-002-899. 002-002-899. It's on the exhibit list. 249, thanks. Exhibit 249. There's reference there to a surprise meeting requested by you on October the 9th, I guess, because the day following this. Do you recall this?
I recall the meeting.
Right. And then we have a look at MIS 079-001-041. Again, it will be an exhibit. I just don't know the number. So this is on October the 9th. There's reference to, by Mr. DeChico, message left for the mayor, please give me a call about the meeting this morning and how we can move forward. Right? So you've requested a meeting for October the 9th?
With Michael Kitt.
Right. And then Mr. DeChico appears to be talking to your mother about a meeting on October the 9th as well?
I assume he was talking to her about it by that.
Right. But they're talking about the same meeting as far as you know?
No, I don't know.
You don't know. But from the timing, do you know of any other meeting that day?
Well, no other meeting I had.
Right. Now, let's look at Exhibit 262. This is referring, I believe, to a letter which you had delivered on October 23rd. The idea here was that WCD might agree to increasing the selling price by $2.5 million if the hotel conditions were dropped. And in the last sentence, Peter has advised us he has spoken to the key people at the city who are apparently okay with the restrictions being removed. Now, do you remember to whom you had spoken at the city?
That would be Ed Sajecki.
Ed Sajecki. And he had indicated that removing the hotel restriction was all right? Correct?
Yes.
Let's look at Exhibit 247.
Just the timing of it, not removing the hotel.
Well, let's just talk about that for a second. The idea was that for the time being, you wouldn't have to build a hotel.
But the idea was to still have a hotel there. So eventually.
Okay, so the zoning would be changed to require that a hotel be built?
Or whatever, or the official plan or whatever needed to be done.
But from the point of view of the vendors, if we accept that the vendors really wanted a hotel there, right?
The vendors did, and a lot of people did.
Right. From the vendor's perspective, once title to the land passes, the zoning can be changed back, can it not?
Yes,
And same thing with the official plan.
I believe.
Right. And if we look at Exhibit 247, this is in relation to the key people at the city, and this is received a bit, this is received with a bit of skepticism, I guess, by Mr. Charles on behalf of the AIMCO people. We'll wait until you've spoken to the key people person/mom at the city. I take it, just to be fair to you, you never spoke to your mother about this issue.
No.
Right, and the person to whom you did speak was Mr. Zajecki.
Correct.
And then scrolling down, having said what you've just said, keep going up, sorry. If approving a site plan is sufficient to satisfy the city, why couldn't we do that ourselves? And so on. And then Mr. Charles says to, is it Mr. Kidd at the top? Says, we'll wait until you've been able, Mr. Filippetti, you've been able to speak with the mayor. So just putting that together, you have a proposal which you have vetted with Mr. Zajecki, correct?
Yes.
That's not good enough for the vendors. They're going to vet it with your mother.
Okay.
Now, you talked this morning about there being an issue which had arisen at some point about your involvement with this transaction.
I was not aware of that.
All right, well, let's look at Exhibit 257. So this is an email. Mr. Walker is a planning consultant who works with Barry Lyon. The company's NBLC for short.
Yep.
He's emailing Mr. Bichelia, Mr. DeChico, and then worldclass at primus.ca. That's an email address that belongs to you.
Correct.
And then it's copied to a number of other professionals. So there's a list there. Barry and I spoke with Marilyn Ball. Marilyn Ball is one of the senior planning staff.
Yes.
She is not happy with a number of design changes, non-changes, and it goes down, the reduction in size of the conference facilities. And you were involved in that issue, I take it.
Yes.
And there's a discussion about where there's room to maneuver effectively. In terms of attendees, second to last paragraph, she has requested that I email her our list and that they will set it up. Our tentative list includes Emilio, Tony, Drummond/Sandro, Caroline, ourselves. You see that? That's who they want at the meeting.
Okay.
And then not sure if the optics are right for Peter to attend.
Okay.
So this is an email that went directly to you, Mr. McCallion, on that date, February the 23rd, where this
Yes.
issue about the propriety or the advisability of you attending a meeting with city staff is raised.
I have to admit, I probably didn't read all of the emails I got completely.
Okay, if you got that one, you would have seen there's an issue.
If I had read the bottom, yes.
Right.
I usually only read the items that she was speaking of specifically at the top.
But I take it that this lines up with your evidence this morning, which is that, in some ways, being the son of the mayor has been a hindrance to you.
Yes.
Right. So that this would be an example.
That's an example of a hindrance.
Right. That somebody would say, we're not sure that Peter McCallion should be dealing on this issue in this way.
Yes.
Now, do I take it from the answer that you gave a second ago that you don't have any recollection of any discussion with anyone after getting this email?
No.
Don't know whether you got it or not.
Well, I probably got it, yes. Did I read the entire email? Probably not.
Right. Do you remember reading any part of the email?
Well, I probably remember specifically the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, let's pull up Exhibit 269. So this is the document that I think you saw last week.
Actually, I haven't seen it yet.
Sorry?
I have not seen it yet.
Okay, so it was read to you over the phone or something?
I believe so, yeah.
So let's go into the first page. And this, as you understand it, is a document which was being used to market the investment opportunity in World Class and the hotel condo project.
That's what I've been told. I haven't seen it yet, so.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see it together in a second here. So there's the table of contents, and then let's go one more page in. So this is dated June 2008, and it says, World Class is effectively owned by three individuals, Mr. Tony DeCicco and Mr. Peter McCallion and Mr. Murray Cook.
What's the date of this?
June 2008.
Yes, okay.
Right. So I appreciate your evidence that you had not seen this, but in the middle of 2008, it appears that this was being used or had been created for marketing purposes and advertising you as an owner.
Correct by that, yes.
Now, do you appreciate that once your involvement as more than an agent became known, or I guess to be fair, that the suspicion of your involvement in a capacity other than that of an agent became known, that it caused concern in the vendor group?
Not that I was aware of.
You weren't aware of it at the time?
No, I was not.
Let's look at Exhibit 273. So this is Craig Coleman, who is an advisor for the Alberta group, who asks, I would like to know exactly what Peter McCallion's interest in this project is. Right? This is something that he's raising.
Yes, I have not seen this, but...
Right. You can find one document number here, 2 seconds. Here, let's get a number. So can we pull up OMR 002002558? So this is a memorandum that is sent internally at Oxford about the deal. Sets out at the top, December 12th was the notice date by which the potential purchaser was to provide notice, and carries on. Describes the extension periods. The second paragraph in bold, as the extension notice was not received, the conditions must be satisfied by December 19th, and so on. We know that it, in fact, was extended over to January the 9th. But let's go to the second page. We undertook to persuade our co-owner, again this is Oxford, AIM, that a clean sale could be orchestrated as follows. And then it sets out a number of factors. Then go down to the bottom. AIM rejected these arguments with the following rationale, and the one, of course, that's of interest to us is the third one. AIM do not want to tie any concessions from the city to this deal because of the potential unfavorable optics in their view. They are also uncomfortable with the involvement of Peter McCallion as an apparent principal of WCD. You see that?
Yes, I see it.